question. Somebody give me Romans 13 and 11. I have a question. It's a Robert Carr, man. Give me Romans 13 and 11.
Khan, this is the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Brother, you need a water?
Thank you.
Hey, what's good, Zariah, man? What's up? Get your ass up. Oh, man, you always be tripping. What's going on, man?
What's good, Red?
Hey, man, they was clowning you at work today, man. So? I mean, we watched the video a couple times, but we really couldn't tell if it was you.
Yo, how's your eye?
Oh, it's cool. God damn!
What's up, Op? What's up, Op? Yo, let me get one of them flyers, man. Man, I ain't giving you shit. You better get the hell out of here before Cat Pop come out here. Man, come on, man. Why you gotta be like that, man? I'm trying to come to class, man. Why you acting crazy?
Man, you need to go do that.
Man, I ain't giving him shit.
Man, what? Man, you ain't gonna give me shit. We need brothers to come to class.
Damn, man. Ite me yato me tararo tato. Man, you fucking racist, man. Give me this goddamn flyer, man. You acting crazy, home.
Man, fuck you.
Oh, shit. Tebow, nigga.
What?
Who? Tebow.
Oh, damn, I ain't been to class in a minute. Shit. Oh, shit.
What's up, y'all? What's up, Red? Thanks for the bike. What you got on my ties, homie?
I ain't got nothing. I thought you already collected the ties.
I did, but I want Red's 10%.
Stall him out.
What's up, Red? What you got on my ties, homie?
I ain't got nothing, man.
Oh, yeah, you got something.
I ain't got. Hey, man, that's messed up, man.
Shut your ass up or I knock your ass out.
Yo, Tebow, man, that's messed up, man. Give him his money back.
What money?
You right now. What money?
Hey, man, why ain't y'all help me?
Yeah, man, I paid my tithes.
Man, that's fucked up. If it was y'all, I would have helped y'all.
What about the time he took the ties from me in Zariah's backyard?
Oh, that was different.
Man, let's jump him.
Man, sit your ass down, man.
Man, I got mind control over Tebow. When he here, I pay my tithes. But when he leave, I pay my tithes.
Man, damn, man. I should have just paid my tithes, man.
Man, that nigga gonna cry in the car.
He should have paid his tithes.
Shit, real shit.
This shit is endless. What I speak is the truth. I don't care if it's offensive. 12 rounds hit hard, and this shit gon' go the distance. Way to exit cool, but wait till you see the interest. Know that we them niggas when we walk inside the entrance. Put me as the GOAT, you should be honored to get a mention. All my clips is standard, but I still get extensions. Switch on the big 30, sound like when it's spitting. Album so hot, I had to get.
I think we got a problem, got a problem.
Let's go. Get up. It's that club, baby.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, Sheik Luch, LOXD Block, Silverback. Hey, yo, right now I need to shout out the ISUPK classes.
I want to give a huge, big, humongous shout out to all the UPK schools.
Shout out to Black Watch, hosted by General Johanna. Word, I need y'all to check out Cross the Line Radio as well, man. They've been open all week from 7 to 9. They ain't shut down because of the corona, the COVID and all that. They rockin' strong, you know what I mean?
Think we got a problem, but really it ain't though. It's one of me and these bitches I count about 3, 4. Think we got a problem, but homie just all talk. He ain't gonna pop a balloon with a pitchfork. Think we got a problem in the club with this dog. Rude boys, dogs, ladies, everybody.
Acts 26 and 6. Oh, Salakia. Yahaba Shem Yahushua Rakatah. Thumb. Salakia. Yahaba Shem Yahushua Rakatah. Yahaba Shema Al Thumb Ba Shem Yahushua to the sisters. Tonight's class, interesting class tonight. Tonight's class, should we be called Christians? And I even go even far as saying, should we use the name Jesus Christ? But before we get into that, I want to talk about this Kanye thing real quick, because this is real big right now. And you had something interesting that you wanted to say about it. You want to talk, bring it up?
Sir. So one of the things that I noticed is that it's hard to tell which side, we're going to be on as far as Black people and what's going on. Some people don't realize as far as what Kanye said about the Jewish community.
Right.
And they're kind of focused on, what he said about the brother
George Floyd.
Right. And then others are, solely focused on what he said because they're up on, what he said about the Jewish community. But what I noticed about us is we're so split, we can't even be on one accord. My issue is, what he said about George Floyd, was incorrect.
Right.
And he should be corrected about it.
Right.
But what he said about the Jewish community was heavy and it was right.
Right.
They take advantage. And, us as Black people got to realize that, at the end of the day, if there's no unity, if we don't, decide to come on one accord, this can keep happening. And if you have the issue with what Kanye says, you should have an issue with talking about, sleeping with the next man's wife every other song. Or the next man.
I mean, I thought that was excellent. What he was like, what he was like, fuck the bitch, kill the nigga. Something he was doing like that. Right. And he said that's anti-Semitic.
Right.
And I thought that was real heavy. I thought that was real strong. But the thing is, what you're saying, I agree. In my slavery, I get a chance to talk to the people on the other side a whole lot, and I can speak freely about it. And what I come to find is, you're right. We kind of divided, but what I'm saying is you have two events going on, two stories being told, right? You got the media side, we got to be real careful. You got the media side, and then you got the free thinkers side. You know what I'm saying? The Israelites, us side, those that are thinking not inside of the box, but we can go inside the box, but we can go outside of it and we can judge it quite well. So, and I find that a lot of the Christians, they taking the side of the media.
Right.
They definitely taking the side of the media. I talk to them a lot, and I'm talking about real bulls too. I ain't talking about some weak bulls. I'm talking about some real, genuine bulls. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure. And they like, man, he tripping, man. There's nothing he's saying is right. I said, well, did you listen to it? A lot of people not listening to it too.
Right.
A lot of people are going by the
Little sound bites.
Sound bites, right? And some of them not even going by that because they're not on social media. So guess what? If you're not on social media, you ain't getting enough. You just getting it from the TV.
Right.
I mean, Chase told him to take 40 million out. Come get your money, man. Come get your that right there is heavy. That's heavy. But I'm gonna tell you, one of his major problems. His major problems, what we brought on Monday, is that the fact that he married the oppressor.
Right.
He married the daughter of the oppressor. He married the oppressor. And when he married the oppressor, now he loves that oppressor's God. And he wants to build temples for that heathen woman's God, just like Solomon.
Right.
He's doing the same exact thing. The same exact thing. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to bring this class out, is because he's professing to be a Christian. And should we embrace that? See, I can go through Kanye's conversation and I can navigate and say, okay, that's tripping. Like it's like I was telling somebody today, look, it's like a baseball, what is that, the pitcher? You know how the pitcher be back there and the pitcher be like, that's how I be with Kanye. I be watching Kanye, I be like, you be on the edge with him. So with Kanye, but I'm telling y'all, listen, he's fighting for Christianity. And he's fighting for, it's like a mixture. He's like lukewarm. He's on the fence with it. Because he's just like all the fake Hebrew Israelite groups. I'm just really thinking, he's just like all the fake Hebrew Israelite groups. He like IUIC, like they like half Christian. That's what it is. But I really see that Kanye is fighting for this. Let's go to what I tell you to pull first. Let's go to Galatians
11:26.
I'm sorry. Galatians chapter 1. And we're gonna start at verse 6, right? Because right now we are using a name that identifies with our king, right? And we know that name that is identified with our king, it was made up. And what I mean by it was made up is this: the letter J was made up by our oppressors. Our oppressors are the ones that decided to call him Jesus. So now you got a bunch of Salaki. We got a bunch of Jakes. I wanted to use another word, but we got a bunch of Jakes. And when I say Jake, I'm talking about Black, Hispanic, or Native Americans. We got a bunch of Jakes running around saying that we shouldn't be using the name Yahweh Shah, but we should be using the name Jesus, because the name Yahweh Shah we made up. So let's just say hypothetically, they made up a name, we made up a name. What name would you want to use? Whose side are you on over here?
Yeah, right.
I mean, even when they made that statement, I'm like, okay, but you're still saying, even what you're still saying that you are siding with your oppressor. When you use that name and you know that the name was made up, we're gonna pull that up. We're gonna listen. You can pull out your phone and pull it up and say, when was the letter J invented? You can pull it right up, boom. And guess what? In the midst of the transatlantic slave trade, they came up with it. In the midst of the transatlantic slave trade, they recanonized the scriptures and took this out, right? Now, before all this took place, listen to what Paul had to say in the book of Galatians, chapter 1 and verse 6. Read.
The book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 6.
More.
I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into grace of Christ unto another gospel.
So you are so quick to be removed, right? Like you got some people that come in here and they come and they partake in the truth. They partake in it And they so quick to be removed. They so quick to leave because we're saying and teaching things that's not American. We don't have that American spirit. We're not teaching the American dream. We're teaching the dream of Jacob, which is called Israel. We teaching the dream of that ladder. That's the dream we teach. Right? And you're so quick to be moved from this good news, right? Read.
Which is not another, but there be some that trouble you.
There's some that trouble you. We got some that's troubling you. But here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana, we're going to set it straight. We're not going to water it down. We're not going to slice it up and give you half. We're going to give it to you raw and uncut. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. When you talk about using the name, right? When you use that name, Jesus, right? Remember, the name, the J was made up. Prior to the transatlantic slave trade, there wasn't no Jesus on the planet, right? So here Paul is going to warn us about it. All right, read.
And will pervert the gospel of Christ.
Will do what?
Pervert the gospel of Christ.
He will pervert the gospel of the Mashiach. That's what he'll do. That's what they're going to do, because it didn't say Christ. And I'm going to tell y'all why. I subscribe to using the Mashiach more than the Christ, is because even that is tainted. Christos, Christians, all that whole thing, man. We gotta come up out of that, right? Read.
But though we are an angel from heaven.
But though we or an angel from heaven, right? Read.
Preach any other gospel.
Preach any other good news unto you than that which we preach. That which Paul is saying what we preach, right? Read.
Unto you, let him be accursed.
Let him be accursed. Read.
As we said before, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel.
If any man preach any other gospel. Now listen, we know that our fight is not a physical fight. It's a spiritual fight, right? Where's that? Hebrews 6. Hold on. Hebrews. My Hebrews is out here.
Is it Ephesians?
Is it Ephesians 6?
With...
Right, Con. It's Ephesians 6?
Yeah, Ephesians 6.
Give me that. Ephesians 6. Now I want to share something with y'all. Watch this. Now remember, everything that's going on right now in the planet, dealing with blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people, right? Everything that's going on, everything that we try to get up, we can't get up. We try to get out, we can't get out. We can't be redeemed. Everybody done tried it. Everybody done tried it, right? So our fight, is it a physical fight or a spiritual fight? It's a spiritual fight, right? You got it?
Comment on one concept.
Read. Listen.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12.
Come on.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
We what?
We wrestle not with flesh and blood.
So our fight is not with flesh and blood. It's not a physical thing, read.
But against principalities.
Come on.
Against powers.
Against powers, principalities, powers, come on.
Against the rulers of the darkness.
Against the rulers of this world, of darkness of this world, read.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places.
In high places. So we're talking about a spiritual battle. So let's think for a minute. It's a spiritual fight. It's a spiritual battle. So that means spiritually it's something that we're not doing right. Spiritually it's something that it's not lining up correctly. I mean, let's just use some common sense here. And if, you can tell me in the chat, since we've been introduced to that name and been called, and now we're called Christians because we were first called Christians in Antioch. Tell me when has anything good came to us as a whole, as a people, since we've been using that name, that gospel? It hasn't. Think about it. Okay, so let's see the name that Paul used first. Let's make sure that we on point on what we're saying. Give me Acts 11 and 26. This is when Yahushua came to Paul, right? Now, Yahushua could have came to Paul and spoke to him any way how he wanted, but look what he said, how he talked to him, how he spoke to him. 11 and 26. Now, Paul is giving is it 26 and 11? Salakia, hold on. I believe it's 11 and 26. No, that's when they were first called Christians, right? Hold on. What does Acts 11, 26 say?
14.
What is it?
26 and 14, brother.
26 and 14 is the one
that's on the screen, sir.
Khan, that's it. All right, what you got? Now look. Now remember, Yahushua is coming to Paul, right? He's coming to Paul and he's going to speak to Paul concerning who he is. He's going to give him an identity on who he is. Let's see what name he used. Go ahead, read.
The book of Acts, chapter 26, verse 14. And when we were all fallen to the earth.
So Paul and all the men fell to the earth. Read.
I heard a voice speaking unto me.
So Paul heard that voice speak to him. Read.
And saying in the Hebrew tongue.
In the what?
Hebrew tongue.
No, in the Greek tongue.
Hebrew tongue.
In the what?
Hebrew tongue.
It's very important to understand that Yahushua now is coming and he's identifying himself to Paul, right? Read.
I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me?
Because remember, Paul was actually going, and this is before Paul converted. Before Paul came into the truth and Paul was going out killing Christians, Yahushua is coming and saying, Saul, Saul, why persecute thy me? Read.
It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks.
Now remember, what language is he speaking in? Hebrew. Read.
And I said, who art thou?
He said, who art thou? So Paul is saying, well, who is you? Now remember, he's speaking Hebrew. Read.
Lord. And he said, I am Jesus.
No, say how he said it.
I am Yahushua.
I am Yahushua. You hear how that sound? That I am Yahushua. Read.
Whom thou persecute.
I am Yahushua. Look, it's just the same thing like when Moses said, who should I say sent me? He said the power of my father Abraham, the power of my father Isaac, the power of my father Jacob sent him. Yahweh is his name. That's what it says. So his name, his father's name is Yahweh, and his name is Yahushua. That's how he identified himself. That's how he identified himself, right? So this whole Jesus thing, can you give me pull that up, Wikipedia, on when the name Jesus, when the letter J was invented? You pull that on the screen. Because we have to understand that, listen, our oppressors made that. They are the ones that decided to say, we know we're going to call him Jesus. I'm going to get to the Christian in a minute. But they are the ones that came to that. They are preaching another gospel. They are preaching another good news. They're not preaching the same good news that we are preaching today. They are not preaching the same good news that Paul preached, because Paul did not talk about Jesus. He talked about a Yahweh Shai coming in him. That's what he talked about. You got that up?
I'm looking for it now.
All right, we'll get to it.
You want the you're trying to get.
Nah, just with the
year that it was made.
Nah, just go in and put in when was the letter J invented. That's all. So should we be called Christians? Should we be called Christians? Should we be called Christians? Who was called Christians first? So, and where was we called Christians first? Where were we first called Christians? Were we first called Christians in Israel? In Judah? Where was we first called Christians? Now, I think that's Acts 11 and 26. Can you pull that out? Now, it's very important to listen very carefully on what we're getting ready to lay out. All right, you got that? Can you make that bigger? You can't make it no big. Can you just read it though?
It says 1524. Both I and J were used interchangeably by scribes to express the sound of both the vowel and the consonant.
So what scribes were they talking about? They weren't talking about us. They weren't talking about our scribes. They talking about their scribes. They talking about their writers. Go ahead.
It wasn't until 1524 when Giorgio Trissino, an Italian Renaissance grammarian, known as the father of the letter J.
The father. This is our oppressor. He is the father of the letter J. That is the letter that he changed and he added to your king. He took away your king name. He took away the name that the power lies in. The power, Christians always say the power is in the name. But here's your father. Who the father?
Giorgio Trissino, an Italian Renaissance.
Renaissance. We're gonna give you that Renaissance. We're gonna give you that. That's Malachi.
Grammarian.
So this was the birth of that. This was the birth of calling him Jesus in 524. 1524. So how should I accept what my oppressor said? Yeah, that's what we should do? That's what we doing? No, we should not do that. Like, I use the name Jesus when I'm talking to brothers and sisters, because if I just say Yahweh Shai, they get all fiery and scared. But this is information that we need to know. I'm going to tell y'all why we need to know this information just as well. You got loved ones in your family, right? You got loved ones in your family, and those loved ones in your family, when they start saying, oh man, Jesus is made up, he ain't real. A lot of people leave the faith like that because they see that that letter J was made up. They're not really understanding that they got that. They changed someone's name that really existed, that was the king, right? They're not looking at it like that. So what do? They leave the faith. They turn away because they say he was made up. Only the letter J was made up. What you got up?
Salaki, sir, if I may, it's interesting that this guy is his era is during the Renaissance,
right?
Because that's when they was whitewashing. That's when they was rebirthing.
Absolutely, let's pull that
the
too.
whole world into this new idea that and this new image that they are somewhat superior and the ones who are God.
Right. Let's go to that Malachi 1 and let's get one. Where's that P? Oh, that's Micah. Malachi. Isn't that Malachi 1:1? Where it talks about the Renaissance era, exactly what you just talked about. Yeah. Go ahead.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4.
Read. Now, this is the Renaissance era. This is right here is when they came up with the letter J. It's very important to understand. Right here is when they came up with the letter J. I'm gonna get to Christian in a minute. I read.
Whereas Edom said,
this is what they said. Remember, they had a dark age, right? So they're coming out of the dark age. All right. So when they came out the dark age, they started whitewashing everything. Right? Go ahead.
We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
Come on.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts.
Come on.
They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness.
All right, so when he says whereas Edom, y'all know who Edom is the nation that actually, when we got off those slave ships, those are the nations that we were sold to. When we got off those slave ships, Edom is the one that our daughters, our sons and our daughters was given to another people. All right? When we got off those slave ships, we were those people. And when it says we are impoverished, that's when they was coming out of the dark age. It says, but we will return. That's the Renaissance era, and build the desolate places. That's what they did. They came, they were rebirthed, reborn. That's what Renaissance mean. And then look, right at this moment, in time in scripture, in prophecy, they changed our king's name. They changed our king's name. All right, you got anything else on it?
The people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
Forever. It's very important to see so even if you say that salvation for all men, how you gonna rectify that?
Right. Explain that.
Yeah, you have to explain that. You have to explain that. All right. So where was I talking about Christians? Now, when was the first time we were called Christian? It wasn't in Jerusalem, right? It wasn't in Judea. It wasn't nowhere in that. It was somewhere outside. So if it was outside of Jerusalem, chances is they didn't speak what? Hebrew. It's a strong, matter of fact, this is why it surprised the soldier that Paul has spoke Hebrew. And when Paul spoke Hebrew, that's when he got the attention of those of the circumcision, right? So in this Antioch, where it was first used, they did not speak Hebrew, they spoke Greek. Read.
The book of Acts, chapter 11, verse 26.
What?
And when he had found him, he had brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
So they were called Christians first in Antioch. So could they be called anything else? No, because they spoke Greek. They spoke Greek. They spoke Greek in Antioch. All right. Now, what's coming out of Antioch, right? What's coming out of Antioch during Antioch was established during the time after Alexander the Great, right? But we were first called Christians in Antioch. So because we was first called Christians in Antioch in a Greek name, should we use it? Is it a harm to it? Now, I'm going to show you why I titled, Should We Use It? Can you, hold up, let me bring that in for a little bit. I want to pull up some history. All right. Hold up. Now, I came across this. Is that bigger? Can you see that?
You want it there?
All right, that's too wild. Well, okay. All right, there we go. Now look at this. Now remember, it says they were first called Christians in Antioch, right? Can you read that second one? It says the worshipers of what? You see that out? Can you see it? It says the worshipers.
You said the second one?
The second one, right here.
Sorry, I got it.
Go ahead.
The worshipers of Serapis here are called Christians.
Listen, this was before Yahushua was born. They were called Christians. Go ahead.
And those who are devoted to the god Serapis.
The god Serapis. So we're going to look into the god Serapis. Go ahead.
I find call themselves bishops of Christ.
Like there's a group out there that called. Go ahead. See, that's what I said. That's why I said they have Christians. Go ahead.
In fact, it appears that some followers of Serapis were eventually expelled from Rome when, in 19 AD, Tiberius also expelled the Jews.
All right, so now, well, why did I bring that up, right? You have to understand, we went through a Hellenistic period. So we had Hellenized Jews, right? Get that book right there for the Hellenized Jews. It's right there next to the Bible dictionary. Go ahead. You was right. To your right. Bang, right there. Yep. Now, so if they was Hellenized, right? I'm gonna show you something. Hold on. Y'all know I got them books, right? Y'all know I got them books on that. Hold up with this. Okay, so this book right here is called The Hellenistic Civilization and the Jews. All right, I want the Hellenistic period. I want you to read. I'll tell you when to stop. I'll say my point. Right there where it's highlighted at. All right. So this is the Hellenistic period, right? This is the reason why when you look up the word Gentile in the New Testament, it says Hellen. This is the reason why. All right, read.
This is Hellenistic Civilization and the Jews by Victor Sharakover, page 292.
All right, come on.
Thus, in the course of the Hellenistic period.
In the Hellenistic period. So the Hellenistic period is when Alexander the Great came and conquered the nations, and then he died, and then he had 4 generals that actually spread out and they took over. You familiar with that?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
The Jews became dispersed over the whole Greek world.
So the Jews became dispersed over the what?
Whole Greek world.
Over the whole Greek world. So they were in Antioch. Go ahead.
As early as 140 BCE.
Early as 140 BCE. So that's before the Common Era, meaning before Yahushua. So it was Jews that was dispersed across the Hellenistic piece, across the Greek land. Go ahead.
Approximately or Salakia, 140 BCE approximately. The author of the Sibylline Oracles testifies that the whole land and sea are full of Jews.
Full of who?
Jews.
So it was Jews everywhere. You know how Paul was getting on boats and he was going across, that's good. He was going across the land. He was going over to Galatia. He was going over to all these different places like Rome. It was Israel. It was Jews all over the place. So now when we get to Antioch, right? He gets to Antioch. I want you to go back to Acts 11. Now I want you to start at verse 19.
The book of Acts, chapter 11, verse 19.
Come on.
Now they which were scattered abroad.
They were what?
Scattered abroad.
What did we just read? We talked about the Jews being scattered. But now it's showing you that this is what we do. We scatter. When it get heated, we scatter. Go ahead.
Scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen, traveled as far as Phoenix.
So that means there was Israelites there. Read.
And Cyprus.
Israelites there. Go ahead.
And Antioch.
And who?
Antioch.
So we know that there was Israelites in Antioch. Read.
Preaching the word to none but unto the Jews only.
Unto the who?
Unto the Jews only.
Unto the... No, that don't say. Hold on. Say it again. Jews only. Jews only. I mean, you can't, but you know what?
That's racist.
Yeah, and a Christian here wiggle their way out of that. Go ahead.
And some of them were men of Cyprus.
Come on.
And Cyrene.
So some of the men was of who?
Cyprus.
Uh-huh.
And of Cyrene.
These was Israelites. Go ahead.
Which when they were come to Antioch.
What did they, come on?
Spake unto the Grecians.
Spake unto the Grecians. So if they speaking unto the Grecians, what language are they speaking in?
Greek.
Greek. So they're going to use a Greek word to define us. And that Greek word has an origin, and we're going to explore that origin tonight. Go ahead.
Preaching the Lord Jesus.
So they was preaching Yahweh Shah. They were speaking Yahweh Shah. Use Yahweh Shah. Go ahead.
And the hand of the Lord was with them.
Come on.
And a great number believed and turned unto the Lord.
Come on.
Then tidings of these things came unto the ears of the church, which was in Jerusalem. And they sent forth Barnabas, that he should go as far as Antioch, who when he came and had seen the grace of God, was glad and exhorted them all, that with purpose of heart that would cleave unto the Lord. For he was a good man and full of the Holy Ghost and of
Holy
faith.
Spirit.
Holy Spirit, Salakia, and of faith. And much people was added unto the Lord. Then departed Barnabas to Tarsus.
Come on.
For the seek Saul.
Now we're going to get an understanding on why he's saying this. Go ahead.
And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
So this is why. This is why. Because they were speaking Greek. They spoke Greek. And when they spoke the Greek, they used the Greek origin. So this Greek origin, Christians was used before. It was used before. And now it's being given to us. Why is this happening? This is a part of the curse. Today, even right now, this is a part of the curse. This is why in the book of Acts chapter 13 and 1, we call nigga. It's a part of the curse. This is the reason why we call Christians. It's a part of the curse. Let's get it. Deuteronomy 28 and 37. Sometimes I gotta go there. 37.
I don't want to come. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 37.
Now remember, the Most High said if we don't follow his laws, kept statutes, and his commandments, these curses will come upon us and they will destroy us. Can you give me that before you read that, verse 45?
Verse 45. Salakia, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 45.
Come on.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you.
All of these curses. So we're going to read one of the curses that's right above this. Go ahead.
And shall pursue thee.
Come on.
And overtake thee.
Come on.
Till thou be destroyed.
Until thou be destroyed. Read.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
We don't follow his voice. Read.
To keep his commandments.
This is what he's saying. To what?
Keep his commandments.
This is why this class is called the law class, because we supposed to keep these laws. Everything always tied back into the law. Everything. All right? Everything. Read.
And his statutes, which he commanded thee.
Come on.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
For what?
For a sign.
For a sign. Go ahead.
And a wonder.
Come on.
And upon thy seed forever.
And upon thy seed forever. Now, let's look at one of the signs. Because being called a Christian is what? One of the signs. Being called a nigga is one of the signs. So let's look at the scripture that the curse on why this is so. Deuteronomy 28 and 37.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37.
Come on.
And that shall become an astonishment.
Come on.
A proverb.
A what?
A proverb.
Nigga. A what?
A proverb.
Christian. Go ahead.
And a byword.
Uh-huh.
Among all nations.
Come on.
Whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Wherever we go, we're going to be a byword. We're going to be a proverb. We're going to be an astonishment. They just going to be like, look at these niggas. Ain't nothing like a nigga. Right? So the word Christian has an origin. So we're going to read about the Christian origin. All right. Hold on. You got it. So I appreciate that. How you got it blown up like that. All right. Now, you know what? Before we go there, though, I want to go to the book of Daniel. Let's get that down real quick. We're gonna go to the book of Daniel before we go into that. Just touch on that real quick. The book of Daniel, chapter 8. You know what? I was looking forward to get on that night. All right, we're going to start at Daniel chapter 8 and verse 3. Now, Daniel is telling you about a vision that he had, right? And he's going to break down this vision, all right? And this vision is going to lead us to the first people that was called Christians, all right?
The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 3.
Come on.
Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other.
All right, so this ram represented the Persians and the Medes, right? And one was higher than the other one was the last one standing, which was Persia, right? So that's what it represented. All right, go ahead.
And the higher came up last.
And the highest came up last. That's Persia, right? Read.
I saw the ram pushing westward.
Come on.
And northward.
Like they were conquering everything. Remember, in the book of Malachi, what we read, that's the captivity we was under. Right? Go ahead.
And southward, so that no beast might stand before him.
Nobody could deal with him. Nobody. Go ahead.
Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand.
Come on.
But he did according to his will and became great.
He became great. Come on.
And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
All right. So let's real quick, let's go and see who that is. Let's go to, can you read verse 20 and 21.
Verse 20. The ram which thou sawest, having 2 horns, are the king of the kings of Media and Persia.
All right, so now we see who the ram represented. I told you who the ram represented. Go ahead.
And the rough goat is the king of Grisha. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
Now his first king, who was his first king? Alexander the Greek, right? Alexander the Great, right? So now we know who that is. So now I want you to go back up. I want you to go to verse 8 of Daniel 8 and 8.
Verse 8. Therefore, the he-goat.
Who is the he-goat?
Alexander.
That's Alexander. That's the first king. Read.
Waxed very great.
Come on, Alex. He was called Alexander the Great. Come on.
And when he was strong.
When he was strong, when he was high, when he was at his pinnacle, when he was high up. I mean, he did conquer all these nations. I mean, he's doing it. He's in his prime. Go ahead.
The great horn was broken.
He died. Alexander the Great died at a young age, right? Read.
And for it came up 4 notable ones.
So 4 notable ones. Remember, we're saying that the Bible is accurate. It's a history book, and it gives you an account of everything that went on with us in our captivities, right? And everything about us. So now he's saying, read that again.
Therefore, the he-goat waxed very great. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
So he died. Go ahead.
And for it came up 4 notable ones.
So four of men that grew up with him, that came up with him, read.
Toward the 4 winds of heaven.
So they spread it out. And one of those men went to Egypt. That was the first white pharaoh that went to Egypt. The first one, right? I want you to read verse 9 too.
Verse 9. And out of one of them came forth a little horn.
Came what?
A little horn.
And what came a little horn? Go ahead.
Which waxed exceeding great toward the south and towards the east and towards the pleasant land.
So that
land.
And out of one of them came one. Who was that came out? You got that out? I think that's in Maccabee 1. See, they took this out. They took the Greek captivity out. Can you pull up the apocrypha up there?
No, sir, give me 1 second.
All right.
Talk about it and I'll be ready.
So remember, like I said, they took this out of the scriptures. Look, we're gonna start at Maccabee just to show that we on point with this. I want you to read verse 1. Maccabee 1 and 1. So remember, Daniel talked about it, right? Daniel spoke about it. He prophesied about this he-goat. This was way before this he-goat gonna come through, and it has a great horn, and that will be the first king. He prophesied about this way before it took place. And then he reads in Malachi 1 and 1. Read.
Malachi 1 and 1?
Maccabee 1 and 1. Salakia.
The book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened.
And it what?
And it happened.
And it happened. What happened? The very thing that Daniel got the vision about. Read it again.
And it happened.
It happened. Go ahead.
After that, Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes.
All right. So that's what we read about, how he came and he conquered the Persians and the Medes. We read. Remember, they took this out, right? Go ahead.
That he reigned his steed the first over Greece.
So that means he was what? The first king.
Man.
It's pretty accurate. Go ahead.
Now I can't get the timeline. I need your help with this. How long before this did Daniel predict? Was it like?
Okay, Daniel captivity was like 586 BC, something like that, right? So it was about what, about 200 years or so, under something, roughly, yeah, something like that. Right.
Alexander is it's like 320,
Right.
BCE, I believe.
200 years later.
And it happened. Yes, sir. All right, go ahead.
And made many wars, and won many strongholds.
Come on.
And slew the king of the earth, and went through to the end of the earth, and took spoils of many nations. And so much that the earth was quiet before him.
He come in the room, cats like, go ahead.
Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
So he knew he was that boy too. Go ahead.
Is that when it's talking about his feet ain't even touched the ground? Is that?
No.
That's okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations, and kings who became tributaries unto him.
Everybody was giving him that paper. Come on.
And after these things,
remember, we read in Daniel that verse 8 and 8, Daniel 8 and 8, it says, therefore the he-goat waxed very strong, and when he was strong, read.
And after these things, he fell sick.
He fell sick. And then in Daniel 8 and 8, it says the great horn was broken. That's when he fell sick. All right, go ahead.
And perceived that he should die.
So we see that it's on point. Go ahead.
Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth.
So those that was brought up with him from his youth, those are the four. Those are the ones that went out to the four corners of the earth, four winds of the earth. Go ahead.
And parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
Come on.
So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
So Alexander died. He died, right? So I want to go ahead, keep going.
And his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Evils was multiplied in the earth. Give me Job 9 and 24. We're going back to there too. Evils was multiplied on the earth. So what is it saying? It's saying now at this moment, evil was multiplied on the earth. Evil was. It's coming out. Who is it? It's Esau. It's our oppressors. It's the Romans. It's the Greeks. Go ahead.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24.
Come on.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
This is what happened. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. You got any more on that?
He covered the faces of the judges thereof.
Did they do that? Did they come out and whitewash and cover the faces thereof? Did they come out and create a letter J? Did they come out and change our king name?
Right.
Did they start calling us a name that was already given to a false god? And look, and then the false god had a virgin birth. I kid you not. Yo, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown now. This right here is wickedness at its top, at its highest. The highest principalities and powers, right?
Right.
All right, let's get back to Maccabee. So now evil has been spreaded throughout the earth, right? Go ahead. Verse 10.
Verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root.
And it came out of them the wicked root. If you go back to Daniel 8 and 9, it says, and out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed very great towards the south, towards the east, and towards the pleasant land, which is our land. He was coming towards our land. That's what it's saying in Daniel's 8 and 9, right? Read what you got.
Came out a wicked root.
There you go.
Antiochus.
Who?
Antiochus.
Where were they first called Christians?
Antioch.
Ooh. See it? See it come together? Go ahead.
Surnamed Epiphanes.
Come on.
Son of Antiochus the king.
Read.
who had been an hostage at Rome.
Come on.
And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Of the kingdom of the who?
The Greeks.
That was of the Hellenists, right? Those are the ones that they spoke Greek. So they were first called Christians where? In Antioch. They spoke Greek. The hell else they gonna call them? You gotta call them if they spoke Greek. Don't put too much stock in that Greek. Don't do that. You put all your stock in the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. When you read it in any language, with any language you read it in, you always, the application you apply is our culture that comes from our laws, our statutes, and our commandments, right? What else you got on that? That's it?
Oh, that was the end of verse 10.
Yeah, that's 12. That's 12. So now, remember, now we in, Salaki, you know what? Go back, Salaki. Go back. Back to Maccabees. Read verse 11.
Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Wicked men. Like T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar. Any Christian, anybody that's eating from that tree and come tell you what you should do and come tell you and give you counsel. Listen, no Christian should be given no Israelite counsel. We give them counsel. They don't know the truth. We know the truth.
Right.
Go ahead, Hot.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are around about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
This is the reason why some of these jakes, man, is just so dangerous. But now at this point, we got to take back our inheritance. We got to take back our rightful place and take back our right name and give our king back his right name. We got to be born again. And everything that we knew had to be passed away. Right? Shoot down to verse 16.
Verse 16. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt.
He thought what?
To reign over Egypt.
Come on.
That he might have the dominion over 2 realms.
Come on.
Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen, and a great navy.
Come on.
And made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt.
It's very important. I wanted to just bring that out. So Ptolemy was the king of Egypt. So Ptolemy was one of Alexander men that he had gave out to his kingdom, right? So Ptolemy was in Egypt. So now let's go, and I'm going to pull up something. All right, hold on. I'm coming. Hold on. So I don't want that one. I want a little bit more right to the point. All right, there we go. Can you see that? What's y'all? I can make it bigger. There we go. All right. All right, so now, remember, now we in Egypt, and the first white pharaoh is now coming into Egypt. So when he came into Egypt, of course, you had people that was already there. You had the Egyptians that was there, right? And then you had Esau that was coming in. Ptolemy was coming in. So he wanted to bring a form of harmony among the people after taking their land. He wanted to. So what did he do? He created a god. Yeah, huh? Go ahead, give him the mic. And what did they do? He created a God. Don't that sound so familiar? They created a God, and that God that they created, the followers of them were called Christians in Antioch. Remember, we were first called Christians in Antioch. The origin of that name Christian comes from right here. Let's get it out.
Serapis, also spelled Serapis, Sarapis, Greco-Egyptian deity of the sun.
All right, so understand what it's saying now. We got the Greeks and we got the Egyptians. We got Ptolemy going into where? Egypt. So we got the Grecians and we got the Egyptians, just like we saying in scripture. Right? Go ahead.
Greco-Egyptian deity of the sun first encountered at Memphis, where his cult was celebrated in association with that of the sacred Egyptian bull Apis, who was called Osiris when deceased.
All right, so look, what you have is you got a Egyptian god and you got a Greek god. And now he's going to bring them together. Go ahead.
He was thus originally a god of the underworld, but was reintroduced as a new deity with many Hellenic aspects by Ptolemy the First.
By Ptolemy. We read about Ptolemy, right? So Ptolemy came in and he put this thing together. Don't it sound so familiar? Go ahead.
Ptolemy the First, Sultan, reigned 305 to 284 BCE, who centered the worship of the deity at Alexandria. The Serapeum at Alexandria was the largest and best known of the god's temples. The cult statue there represented Serapis as a robed and bearded figure regally enthroned, his right hand resting on Cerberus, the three-headed dog who guarded the gate of the underworld, while his left held an upraised scepter. Gradually, Serapis became revered not only as a sun god, quote, Zeus Serapis, end quote, but also as a lord of healing and of fertility.
Now, and you notice Zeus. This is all Greek theology, right? Go ahead.
His worship was established in Rome.
In where?
In Rome.
Don't this all sound so familiar? Go ahead.
And throughout the Mediterranean, following the trade routes and being particularly prominent in the great commercial cities. Among the Gnostics, early Christian heretics who believed that matter is evil and the spirit is good, he was a symbol of the universal Godhead. The destruction of the Serapeum at Alexandria by Theophilus, the patriarch of Alexandria, and his followers in 391 CE, together with the obliteration of other pagan temples, all with the encouragement of Emperor Theodosius I, signaled the final triumph of Christianity not only in Egypt, but throughout the Roman Empire.
So remember, this is before our king. This is before our king. And they were called Christians. So this is the reason why they were first called Christians in Antioch. And this is the reason why we shouldn't adopt it. Why should we adopt the name that was given to our king by our oppressor? Why should we do that? Why should that be? I think that we got to really start reevaluating that. We got to reevaluate that. Really. Nowhere in the scriptures does it say that we should be following Christianity and that we should be called Christians. You want to pull that scripture you got on your Christian? If it's any questions, too, you want to pull that precept you got for that word. We really got to reevaluate it. So here, what do we see? We see the fact that what? Our oppressor came in, whitewashed, took his name out, changed it, gave us a name. Now we got to go by it. Now we got to live by it. Now we got to follow it. Like it's a must. Like we got to be, listen, we need to return back to being an Israelite. That's what we need to be called. We should be called the 12 tribes of Israel.
Damn right.
That's what the name that we should be called ourselves. We should be, and we should be proud of it. We should be proud of it. What you got?
This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 16. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian.
As a what?
As a Christian.
Now he's not saying we should be called a Christian. He's saying if you suffer as a Christian. Why did he say if you suffer as a Christian? He's speaking to Hellenistic Israelites. He's speaking to Jews that were spread it abroad. So he's saying if you what?
Suffer as a Christian.
So you suffer as a Christian. Why? Because they call you a Christian. Right? Go ahead.
Let him not be ashamed.
Don't be ashamed of it. And I say the same thing right now to my brothers and my sisters, all the Jakes. Listen, if you suffer as a Christian, look, come on in the truth. We got classes right down in Wilmington at 1232 North King Street. We got classes down here in the south of Delaware, 202 North DuPont Boulevard. Need to get in classes. Any questions in the room? Any questions online? All right, turn the class over to Precinct Officer Mataziala.
SUPK security announcements. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and share themselves with the world. We need transportation, teachable arrangements. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they have to seek counsel from the heads. Tithe, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in Hebrew, ma'ashra. That's 10% every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Priest funds, it's free will offering for the priest. It's not mandatory. It's whatever amount you'd like to donate. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the Feast of Dedication. That's coming up on Saturday, December the 17th, I believe. This is the date. All right, that's the Feast of Dedication. That's where we rededicate the temple. So if you don't know how the Feast of Dedication, every year we try to put something. We try to make redo the temple, redo our school, make it glorious, add something new to the school. You know, donate something to the school that the school can use. All right, that's the Feast of Dedication, which is coming up December the 17th at sundown. All right, I believe that's on a Saturday. That's on a Saturday. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that being said, and if Israel, Elijah, you need to stand. If Israel, Elijah, Shabbat, Elijah, Barak, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, Thumb, Yahweh, Matah. Sorry, we need to turn. We're going to get Sister Casey salute, Sister Elijah, Israel, Elijah, Shabbat, Elijah, Barak, Yahweh, Samar, Thumb, Hashem, Yahweh, Yahweh, Matah. Class dismissed.